I would rather kiss 50 frogs, than to actively participate in burnout. I was talking to my assistant a few days ago. She was preparing our content and she sent it over to me. And I was like, what the heck? I'm not doing all of that. And she was doing her job. But I said, listen, we're not doing all of that. We're going to align to the life that is meant for us. My name is Eva Simone. I am the CEO of Embodiment is Everything. But let me tell you, there was a time that I walked around with burnout as a badge. I was so proud that I could get so much done. But inside I was struggling. But I shifted all of that, but it didn't come easy. When you grow up in this environment and energy where a lot is asked of you, you know how to get things done. Well, I'm here to tell you, after many years of shifting my energy, shifting how I thought, rearranging my thoughts and my brain, and really creating new neural pathways and allowing this new way of living to really get deep into my body. When you embody a new way of thinking and being, what's inside will start to show on the outside. So before I got to this place and set a standard for myself, I was grabbing from so many places trying to understand this thing called life. And when I really came home to myself, all I had to do was breathe, expand, hold more capacity, hold my hand over my heart and my lower belly, and things would start to shift. But when I first started, it wasn't shifting. My brain, that deep, heavy, get it done energy that many high-performing women are capable of, and I like to call it wounded masculine energy, where there's too much of it in us and we don't know how to balance it, and one is taking over. For me, it was taking over because I was afraid of really leaning back into my feminine. So when I gave myself an opportunity to shift out of that way of showing up, I started to enjoy life. I started to enjoy being, pleasure, really residing in my body. And my book that I have here, Honey in Her Bones, really tasting and feeling and embodying the honey that's in my own bones and that's in yours as well. The standard that I really stepped into was beyond what I was taught, what I was shown, what I understood as a woman. And it took so many years of just falling down and getting back up and it being so raw and so messy, so that when I really got to this place, I was like, all I had to do was expand myself and to align everything of how I was and what how I was being and how I was thinking internally and externally align. And then that trajectory was going exactly pointed where I wanted to go. So when I started to understand that I didn't have to effort, I didn't have to push, I didn't have to be in this energy that was so draining and exhausting, that I could lean back and only show up when it was aligned. But there was something that really had to change for me, and that was listening to my intuition. When I started to understand the standard and what that meant for me, I had to shift my perspective. Listen to my inner voice, not the inner critic that's always trying to keep you from moving forward, but quiet down enough for me to hear what I was really saying. I was telling my assistant recently, I said, I cannot create anything until the muse speaks to me. And before I was the one speaking, and I didn't know the difference between me and my intuition. And once I started to quiet myself enough to feel safe enough, safety is, it's high up there. And especially if you've grown up in environments where you didn't feel safe, you spend your years growing up, moving through life in survival. And survival feels so bad, but so natural. So once I learned to get out of survival and into thriving, but I couldn't do it until I said, I'm going to change everything that has been told to me, and I'm going to challenge it all and see what I got and what I will get. So let me tell you, it was a bumpy ride until I got to a place where I'm like, okay, if I just hold the feeling in my body and allow it to settle in and integrate while things would be rearranging around me, then I'm expecting a different reality. And once I did that, I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be in your body, to be a woman who's embodied, who is fit, who's successful, who's alive, who's expecting beautiful things to happen, who is in her rich energy, who is calling things in. She is in the inevitability of the most amazing, amazing life, deeply embodied in her own honey. And that's what happened. Every day becomes more beautiful because I'm not efforting, I'm not pushing, I am letting life meet me. And sometimes I move myself so that life can meet me. So let me tell you about that. Yesterday, I needed to get some work done and I was tired of sitting at my computer. I wanted to be out in the world. I know that about me, that beautiful energy of mingling and connecting with people is so important to my own evolution and for me being a beautiful woman. So, I needed to get this work done and I could not get it done. Everything I tried to do, I was feeling like I was pulling like 500 bricks behind me and I was like, what is going on? These days, I'm manifesting really quick. Everything I'm desiring is just lining up because I've lined up. So when I was having that moment where I'm like, I'm ready, what's going on here? So something said, go to the airport. I'm like, what? To the airport? I don't have a flight. What do you mean go to the airport? So these days I listen to the news and my intuition is I've gotten out of that wounded intuition where you don't trust yourself, you're trusting everybody else. But I trust myself these days. She's the standard talks about really stepping into your own power. So anyway, I get all my things together and I'm heading to the airport. I'm like, I don't have a flight. And then I heard the news. People are moving at the airport. You're stuck. You need to move and watch people move so your energy can move. Friends, I got to the airport. I usually go to Terminal 2 whenever I'm flying, especially when I did a lot of flying in my career, in my past career. So I got to the airport and I went to Terminal 1. I've never been to Terminal 1 before in my life. And listen, I don't have luggage. I'm just walking in and sitting down, not going to the ticket counter, not going anywhere but to a seat. I get to the seat and I take out my iPad, and the muse said, just do one thing. Before I knew it, I had gotten all of the work done. I was at the airport for 1 hour, got out of there, got back home, and success. So, friends, everything is energy. And if your energy is stuck, you got to move it. But you also have to be in a standard that allows the intuition, the movement, the embodiment, your vector pointing in the right way and being ready for life showing up where you're at. If you're in a situation now where you feel like you're efforting and you're exhausted and you feel like you are burning out, the standard is for you. It's time to play. It's time to have lots of fun. It's time to really step into that honey and let it be this juicy, fun-filled, powerful life that is yours. But if you don't have that foundation, you don't know where you're going. I want you to know where you go. I want you to know which direction you're heading. I know where my direction is. I'm Eva Simone, and I am the CEO of Embodiment is Everything. The standard is available for you to get immediately. Meet me there. It's time. Let's stop this. Be well. Bye.